Ahtna's traditional territory is over 10 million acres in south-central Alaska. Ahtna people have existed in the region for thousands of years. Throughout our history, we developed customary and traditional hunting practices that are still very much a part of our culture today. Unfortunately, current laws and an ineffective system of dual federal-state regulation of the Ahtna people's traditional hunting practices have severely limited our opportunity to maintain these all-important traditions. It is for this reason the proposed wildlife co-management system is needed. Of the 10 million acres of traditional territory, 1.7 million acres were officially conveyed to Ahtna through the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act of 1971, also known as ANCSA. The United States promised during the enactment of ANCSA that Alaska Native subsistence rights would be protected. Additionally, the state promised during the passage of the Alaska National Interest Lands Conservation Act, ANILCA, to manage all lands, state, native, and federal, for a rural subsistence priority. In the time since, the state of Alaska has enacted laws and regulations that have steadily infringed upon these rights, limiting the Ahtna people's ability to practice our customary and traditional way of life. Additionally, the voice of the Ahtna people in matters relating to the management of wildlife on our lands has been nearly eliminated. This is completely at odds with the firmly established federal policy of self-determination for Native peoples. There are other challenges of a financial nature. For instance, Ahtna Incorporated has incurred nearly $6 million in land management and legal costs since 2010, a result of Ahtna lands being in close proximity to population centers and connecting roads in Alaska. This geographical situation has led to a fierce competition for hunting rights, requiring the need to continually protect customary and traditional hunting rights. The end result is that dual management confusion contributes to overall costs. A co-management solution will not only reduce costs, but will also create efficiencies. Any viable solution to the current challenges must involve a spirit of collaboration, a true partnership that includes all vested parties in the region. This is why we're proposing federal legislation to create a wildlife co-management system. This would authorize the Ahtna Intertribal Wildlife Commission to manage hunting and wildlife conservation on Ahtna lands. This commission would include the Tribal Conservation District, which is comprised of the federally recognized tribes and ANCSA corporations located within the Ahtna region. Just this year, the Tribal Conservation District was granted the ability to participate with the Department of Agriculture in all its programs on a government-to-government basis. This federally recognized alliance is just one example of tribal government collaboration. Others in Alaska include the Alaska Eskimo Whaling Commission and the Alaska Migratory Bird Co-Management Council. In 2009, Ahtna successfully administered the community subsistence hunt alongside the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, though legal actions eventually diminished Ahtna's role in the process. In Montana, the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes have a successful co-management arrangement with the state government. Actually, several Ahtna leaders recently visited with these tribes to view and discuss their co-management arrangement with the state of Montana. Another oft-cited example of successful conservation and management is the White Mountain Apache Wildlife and Recreation Program in Arizona. Collectively, all of these collaborative programs show how co-management has proven to be a highly successful approach for Native peoples and governments working together on both the federal and state levels. The proposed legislation would authorize Ahtna, the state of Alaska, and the Federal Subsistence Board, which is overseen by the Secretary of the Interior, to enter into a co-management agreement for the lands within Ahtna's traditional territory. This co-management structure would ensure conservation of wildlife populations, while also providing the opportunity necessary for Ahtna tribal members to continue their customary and traditional hunting way of life. The goal is to unify wildlife management throughout Ahtna's traditional territory. There would be no change to the state's current authority to manage wildlife on lands owned by the state. The practical impact of Ahtna's proposed solution on other Alaskan hunters would be minimal. The amount of wildlife resources necessary to meet Ahtna's needs is only a small percentage of the total take of wildlife within Ahtna's traditional territory. In fact, Ahtna intends to increase the current moose population through enhancement of habitat on Ahtna lands. This wildlife co-management system would greatly improve the ineffective dual federal-state subsistence wildlife management system by replacing it with the proposed federal-state Ahtna co-management structure. For thousands of years, our lands have provided for a subsistence-based way of life for our people. The establishment of a unified tribal state federal co-management structure will ensure this way of life continues and will benefit healthy ecosystems, wildlife population, and all those who wish to enjoy the public lands that lie within our traditional territory. Co-management will advance tribal self-determination, build tribal capacity, and create opportunities for tribal youth to work for their communities. We ask for your support of this legislation that will create the wildlife co-management system that is so vitally needed. Through this alliance, all parties will benefit and the lands of Ahtna will prosper.